Greetings and welcome to Kasi Exposure News. This is Indiphile, your host. And this is the very first video in 2022. Can you imagine? It's only July and we're doing our very first video for this year. You know that when you do these exclusive interviews, we bring about the most influential icons around Zwelihle. And today, we have a very influential businessman. He'll be telling us about himself, about his career, about his future plans, about what he wants to see in his life. So without further ado, we have Nhlanhla Biyela. He's involved in entertainment, involved in science. We'll be speaking about all of that. Welcome to Kasi Exposure News. Thank you very much for giving us your time, because I believe it's been months trying to get this interview, but today finally. So welcome. Unjani?
Awe, mfethu ngiyaphila kunjani?
Kuhle nakuthi.
Kahle. Let me take this opportunity to thank you guys for letting me be the first person to do an interview with 2022. Even though it's late, it's about July. Shoot kahle. I was supposed to be the one that was supposed to do interview because it's been months since we were trying to make this interview in this Wednesday. So namhlanje for it to happen with July, it's fine. In fact, shooting was meant to be, even though it's late and full to Jabelela. It's your first interview with 2022. So kahle ngiyavulela interview 2022. So ngiyajabula ukuba kule mbijana namhlanje nami Exposure News. Ngibingelela wonke umuntu osibukelele la osibukele khona abafethu ngithi hello, igama lami mina Nhlanhla Biyela.
So tell us, who is Nhlanhla Biyela, as you, because you've just only told us your name, but I want you to take us back into your upbringing. Who are you? What makes you Nhlanhla?
Nhlanhla Sithombe Biyela kahle, those are my full names. Nhlanhla ngamqanjwa ngubaba, uSithombe ngamqanjwa wena futhi ubaba, ngusithombe ngenxa yokuthi, sorry man, I'm just going to take you back ngendlela yokuthi ngizokwazi ukunderstandisa nami indlela engikhule ngayo nendlela understand ukuthi this is who I am, you understand. So baba ngiqhamuka ukuthi uNhlanhla Sithombe, ngusithombe because kahle wathi mengibona uthi ngimkhumbuza ubaba wakhe. So kahle, so I had a resemblance time alike, so of which Lowe was my grandfather, I understand. So kusithombe ngaleyo ndlela. uBiyela is isibongo sasekhaya, of which this is where I come from. Ngiqhamuka endaweni ekuthiwa iseHluhluwe, ithama lami lalazelelwa khona endaweni ekuthiwa iseHluhluwe kaNongoma, phakathi nayo eKZN. But mina ngokuzalwa ngizalelwe endaweni ekuthiwa iseManzimtoti. Ngakhulela endaweni ekuthiwa iseLuvu Township, and then I moved around and became the muntu engiyena njengoba namhlanje sengithola sengila eHermanus. So basically that's where, or yona indawo engikhulele kuzona, or indawo ezingenze ngayo lo muntu engiyena, you understand.
So can you please also touch on your personality as well? What makes you be the person that you are?
Wow. What makes me be the person that I am? It's fair to I've been calling myself someone who is a hood native, but a hood native has nothing to do with who I was or ngalesikhathi. Hood native is something that I call myself after understanding yonke lento that I had to go through, or empilweni yami ngisakhula yonke leyo. So being umuntu oyibiza ngehood natives, in my upbringing, njengoba ngisho ukuthi I was kahle indabuko yami ikaNongoma, but then ithama lami lathola endaweni ekuthiwa iseManzimtoti la wakwazi khona ukuthola umuzi, lathola ne-old lady, and then from then on sayifamily yakaBiyela under ithama lami. So when it comes to my personality, I'm more inspired, or it's more inspired by originality. It's more inspired by the people or the places or the place la engakhulela khona. It's more inspired by abantu who I looked up to, abantu who I was around at that time. Ngalesa sikhathi kudala fethu back in the 90s kwakhona izimpi. So if kwakhona izimpi, it was izimpi between, because it was just before or just after South Africa yathola i-democracy.
Yeah.
So after South Africa yathola i-democracy, there was then ubango between abantu abamnyama ke manje, because abantu abamnyama kwase kuyibona abazothatha like power.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So kwase kukhona ubango between ama-political parties angaleso sikhathi leso. So kwakhona izimpi ey'ndaweni zasemalokishini. So
Yeah.
umuntu was then forced ukuthi move around. I had to move around to uncle yami, I had to move around to komalume, I had to move around to la ithama khona lakwazi ukwakha khona umuzi sathola nathi idlala sakwazi ukuthi sikhulele. So ngaleyo ndlela I've been exposed to izinto ezibhaya, and ekukhuleni kwami I played sports, I was involved in a lot of stuff mfethu idila kakhulu ne-socialism. So ngaleyo ndlela I've been exposed to abantu ababhaya, I've been exposed to a lot of characters, but all in all I'm inspired by my origin, my originality, of which abantu basedladleni labo abantu abangenza ngibe lo muntu engiyena. I don't know omunye umuntu uhlamba ngangibona as umuntu ene-personality enjani, but I believe ngumuntu alright ongazi ukuphilisana nawo wonke umuntu ngaphandle kokuclassify ukuthi mhlambe ngibelonga kiphi personality trait.
Yeah. So in this interview, now I want to look more into your background, because even where we are right now, we are currently in at Hood Natives.
Sure.
So I want to know, first of all, before all of this, what's your background on entertainment? How did you get involved? What's really your background on that?
Entertainment, I'd say, was more or mostly influenced by, as I said, kakhulukazi, it was the people that I grew up with. It was the people that I grew up looking up to. It was the spaces that I found myself in at that particular time or moment. Ngaleso sikhathi empilweni yami. So entertainment-wise, I've always been umuntu who's more in love with music.
Yeah.
When it comes to music, fashion, all those things zihambiselana ne-socialism.
Yeah.
Based more on entertainment. Those are the things that entertain me the most. So ungena kwami entertainment, it was mostly via music. You understand? So from music, you listen to umculo, let's say wa Jay-Z, you listen to umculo wa Beyonce, you listen to umculo Kabelo, you listen to umculo wa Kabza the Small. When you listen to umculo womuntu, awugcini ngokulalela umculo wakhe, but you end up following loyo muntu that you love umculo wakhe. You understand? So in that way, you end up not intimidating, but you end up following or classifying izinto based on that particular person. So even the style, the indlela benza ngayo izinto, you understand? So you end up looking up to labo bantu labo about influencer via music. So with me, I was exposed to a lot of artists because ngikhule mina ekhaya ngowesithathu. But njengoba ngowesithathu bekhona like my brothers from like mhlambe Tamil Dala, like yabo leo extended family. Kube khona mhlambe neintwana zakumalume like my cousins who were much more older than me, yabo. So umculo ababewulalela mina ngalesikhathi ngaka understand the next ngomculo wona owagcina like njoba ngisho ukuthi when you listen to umculo, you don't end up to the music that the artist brings, but you end up following even an artist. So ngaleyo ndlela I was following labantu that they were listening to bona without them even realizing ukuthi mina I was picking something from the melodies that they playing, different types of music, because they were like amantombazane, there was like ama guys. So obviously the taste yomculo kulabo it won't be the same. So ngaleyo ndlela mina being umuntu vele who knew nothing about music at the time, I was then exposed to all these different types of music, of genre and all that. So ngaleyo ndlela I was then influenced by the people that they were listening to at the time, to Indiphile that I saw in them after the music crowd. You understand?
Yeah.
Sure.
And also, now quickly moving from your background on entertainment, please tell us the establishment of Hood Natives. Why did you choose Hermanus? I mean, in KZN, like it's a province very far away from us. How did you end up here in the first place and chose to establish Hood Natives right here?
Hood natives is a very lovely word, in fact, or it's. Can I tell you guys about a hood native? What is a hood native? So a hood native is someone like native is associated with your place of birth. So if you were born somewhere in the Eastern Cape, let's say maybe Ukamakwe or wherever in the Eastern Cape, even though usuyithola usula Hermanus, but your native land or your native space or your native place is Kukamakwe Eastern Cape. You understand? Irregardless of the fact ukuthi mhlawumbe ukhulele la. But the fact ukuthi you were born eKamakwe, it makes eKamakwe your native place. You understand? So being a hood native, a hood we all know, a hood is a class. So being lo muntu le nguyena njengoba bengisho ukuthi umuntu had to move around back in the days effects because of his imp. So we had to move from hood to hood. We had to stay from hood to hood. Number one, after izimbi, because of school, because of ispan, umuntu still had to move around, you understand, the places of KZN at the time. So I had to move from Ilentujan. We started from Mbumbulu, moved from Mbumbulu to Tututu, from Tututu to Manzimtoti, from Manzimtoti to Adam's Mission. From, now I'm talking about me. From Adam's Mission, I then moved on to Sematatan, which is in Newcastle. From Matatan, I then moved on to Etand, in the Sesbongi, class Lakon. Then from there, I moved on to Hermanus, of which it's like in the Oshambe is 8 or 9. So being a hood native, yonke leyo is inspired by these places or the spaces that I've been finding myself in. You understand? Because the most common thing about these places is that they are all hoods. You understand? And kulama hoods, this is where I meet up abanye abantu. This is where I engage nabanye abantu. This is where I get to understand abanye abantu abaphila ezindaweni ezahlukahlukene. You understand? Because umuntu ohlala la Zwelihle nomuntu ohlala mhlambe eklasi lase KZN, even though siseklasi sonke iklasi impilo yakho njani iyafana, but indlela yokucabanga based on indawo sikuyona angeke ifane. You understand? True. So in that way I was being exposed to izindlela abantu abahlukahlukene abaphila ngazo. You understand? Indlela yokuphila la eZwelihle is not the same nendlela yokuphila eKZN, somewhere in KZN in the hood or whatever. So in that way I can say ukuthi iZwelihle ibe nenhlanhla fethu, because ukufika kwami la eZwelihle ngifike sengiku stage in my life where I was like, oh okay, now in position to see an opportunity and see if I can act on it. You understand? So which means if I see okay, I can start something engakwazi ukuba uncedo, not just kumina kuphela, but nendawo engiyithola ngikuyona, using whatever, because iZwelihle is a hood, using whatever knowledge that I've gained in all these spaces that I've been at. You understand? Now I'm in a position to be like, oh okay, this is something that's maybe not here as Zwelihle, or that's maybe still coming, or you understand? So if there's a chance for me to introduce it, let me introduce it. Hood natives, I'll take you back. How it started, it's also based and inspired by me being a social person that I am. I'm umuntu, who holding back is maybe something else, but I'm seeing umuntu who's like boxed up, who's like in his box or in his space. I'm someone that's out there. I'm someone that's easily reachable. I'm seeing umuntu that's that guy. I'm seeing umuntu has my vibes. You understand? So being lo muntu lenguyena, I've put myself in spaces of that type of environment. Mina as someone who likes to be entertained, ngingathanda ukuba lezo environment. You understand? So I'm someone that has always been big on social events. Like back in KZN, they were big on social events, like social markets, whereby like abantu who are pushing their own thing, some classy or wherever, they come together. You pushing some clothing brand, you pushing something that has to do with sewing. Yeah, but like different types of businesses that you find. Espacing saseklasi abantu they showcase it kufika abantu who buy khona abantu abatriftayo khona abantu who are doing all these type of things to make sure ukuthi they put food on the table or bayakwazi ukuthi baphile ngendlela yesimo esithola sikusona la eMzansi, you understand? So being low muntu and coming to endaweni to Hermanus, we started a rank. Don't know if you remember, Erenkeni, there was the end weekend, so there it was also inspired by ukuhlangana kwabantu, you understand? Ukuvula leyo ndawo, I remember it was myself, Pizma, Uspatli, Noskor, Usnehlanhla. So it was the four of us, and I remember this ngicabanga leyo idea. We were endaweni kaSpatli and umalume is big on Portugal. So I don't know if Rama is malume Pizma, Uncle P. Uncle P. When it comes to the ports, Luamjita is top notch. So every Sunday we would meet either Kubo or when you're out to Gasbu or somewhere in my place whereby umalume was pegela, and then we enjoy a good meal over some drinks, yabo, and then later on we vibe to go groove and abantu swing. You understand? So this one time umalume washaya ibhoke chicken. I was like, what? Yazi, it's not fair ukuthi lokudla kumnandi kanje sigcina like around sina. Why not nikeza abanye abantu bakuze kuba lokudla kwakho malume le plate leli lifanele ukuthi ungaholela le plate ngendlela okupheke ngayo. You understand? Ipapa lakhona was le papa olithola fethu ku rest or somewhere eThembu. You understand? Ukari wakhona was thick. It was something ongayazi. Even isalad lakhona. And then Renki was the sports that we thought would know as in, because Renki indawo ebase, and it's like the center of Hermanus. It's like not Hermanus, it's Zwelihle. It's like the center of Zwelihle where wonke umuntu meet via ilentujana ama-taxi, transport, ukudlula indlela yonke idlula khona. So we enmarked ilentujana rank. We had to get ilentujana like a tent. We had to make it indawo ibonakala ukuthi it's a spot that you can chill, enjoy good food, sound and all that. So umuntu had to get a tent. We arranged the tent. We set up nje yonke into fethu, and then we sabiza abantu. We had to call abantu ukuthi we're going to be cooking. Malume uzobe ephekile in nani. So abantu, if ufuna ukuchilla or anything, it's free. You just come through, uthenge nje plate, ufike nama drinks akho uhlale until sizivale, you understand? So it was those kind of vibes umuntu wasana introduce endaweni yaseZwelihle. Then from then on, abantu who were actually our first supporters of the event esabanayo eRenklini. And now abantu abagcina beyiphusha indawo yaseRenklini igcina izoba this establishment that you see namhlanje. You understand? From eRenklini to now what it is njengamanje. So moving from eRenklini, I was then inspired by other fellow hood natives who nabo angasibona bala nabo bazalelwe endaweni engaphandle kwalaba basuke eEastern Cape, umuntu usuke eNorthwest, umuntu usuka eJozi. So ukuzalwa kwabo nabo hlukene njenganami ngumuntu usuka ngaphandle ngayithola sengila. So inspiration from fellow hood natives then inspired or pushed indawo yaseRenk to then become what it is namhlanje, of which it's this establishment lehleli kuyona njengamanje namhlanje, and having this interview in. So I don't know if ngichazele kahle in from way back to how I was inspired to how it got to be here and to what it is njengamanje.
Yeah, it's clear, and it's a rich history. Because the name Hood Natives I've been wondering for a very long time. Even now I'm wearing a Hood Natives t-shirt. Sure. But then I've been wondering, where does this name come from? How did it even come about? So I'm sure that even our viewers as well, they can get that clear understanding of what Hood Natives means and where it actually comes from. So now let's we are going through very straight again with your history.
Sure.
Because now I want to know your history on your clothing brand, the story behind Neitiv, because you're wearing a Neitiv sweater right now. So can you just tell us about the name Neitiv, the brand, the story behind the brand, the inspiration behind the brand, and what actually do you want to see, what you want to achieve through this brand?
Neitiv is also inspired by Neitiv. If you look at Buffett, what I'm wearing right now, oh man, I think
Yeah.
I
also spotted it during the interview.
First cameraman so Buffett, the sweater lengigqokile skis ngale zinto lezi angazithathile. The sweater lengigqokile Buffett, it's called Royal Beef. It's a Royal Beef collection from Neitiv. Neitiv njengobubona Buffett. This is basically igama. There's a way of spelling it, and then there's a way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yabona khona abanye abantu abangakwazi pronounce amagama. So the dictionary makes it clear or iyakusiza on how you pronounce a certain name.
Yeah.
So this is basically not the actual name, but the actual name is Neitiv, which is N-A-T-I-V-E. That's the actual name. But how you pronounce Neitiv, because umuntu mebona Neitiv angathi natives.
Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah.
Of which that's not how you call the name. So this makes it easy for umuntu who's seeing and who's reading the name. It's Neitiv.
Yeah.
You understand? It's not natives or it's not natives. It's Neitiv.
Neitiv.
So
Yeah.
basically, what you see on the chest of each and every merchandise, yaga Neitiv, it's the pronunciation ya Neitiv. And njengoba ngishilo nasekuqaleni ukuthi Neitiv, it's basically your association with indawo yakho yokuzalwa. It's your place of birth.
Yeah.
So wherever you were born makes it your native place. So with this brand being Neitiv, it relates to each and every one of us, because being born somewhere represents each and every one of us, because each and every one of us was born somewhere, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, we all originate from somewhere.
You understand? You had to be born in the when it is, and wherever you were born, ichaza indabuko yakho, of which it's your native. So undabuko comes about isiZulu kahle kahle. So undabuko is a direct translation of native. So ngesiZulu, instead of saying native, we say ndabuko. Believe in isiXhosa kuthiwa imvelaphi. Yeah. So undabuko uqhamuka lapho kule njani ku native. It's more of a direct translation. But to answer your question, umbuzo wakho uthi what inspired the brand? What inspired? As the fair to I remember it was 2020. Bengisahlala endaweni ekuthiwa ise Fisher Haven.
Yeah.
Bengihlala ngi1 and indawo ekude nala, so bengithola if ukuthi ngine space sami or ngile span, benginesikhathi sokuthi ngikwazi ukuba no self ngendlela engithanda ngayo. If ukuthi angifuni ukuba no self, ngidecide ukuthi no man, ngifuna ukuhlala no Indiphile, then ngizosuka wherever la ngihlala khona, futhi it was Fisher Haven. It was ikude yebo Fisher Haven.
Yeah,
it's far. So if ngifuna ukuhlala no Indiphile, I had to come la ekhaya.
Yeah.
So esikhathini esiningi nganginokuhlala like ngi1 day, let me just enjoy my space, man. Let me just enjoy my company. And then COVID-19 hits. When COVID-19 hits, it was March, if I'm not mistaken, where we had to go to level 5 lockdown.
Yeah.
Somewhere in March. Then from then on, Espani, they had to limit the number of days of us being there, so that to avoid exposure.
Yeah.
Of us being with COVID. So umuntu was working like 2-3 days a week.
Yeah.
So because the sevens are like 2. So umuntu was the sevens are like 3. So meaning I had more time now to myself.
Yeah.
You understand? And being level 5, wherever you were going at the time, you had to have a permit.
Yeah.
Your permit, you had to provide it to say why usendaweni ethize ngalesi sikhathi.
Yeah.
So the only way you keep endlini was ukuthi uye kephi emsebenzini. Yeah. Munga espanini uyayishop uyothenga lento oyithenga, but awukwazi ukuhlala nabanye abantu because sasikulo level engaziwa nangalesa sikhathi sasikuyona. So
Yeah.
ongakwazi ukuhlangana nabanye abantu. Meaning I had more time to myself, and when I had more time to myself, I told you in an interview with fashion was one of the things that influenced me, shaped me, because ukubuka fethu umuntu ugqoke kahle uclean, I was like wow, nje ugqoke nangali ukuthi uzube ugqoka izinto ezi-sophisticated but ugqoka into ekufanelayo yabo ukuyibona ukuthi umuntu kanjani uyi-understand ukuthi no man into ezingifanelayo mina ilezi ave yinhle. So fashion has always been one of the things ezingishapile or ezingenze nje ngacabanga ukuthi no man yazi ukuba muhle is you understand. So when I was by myself, I was then inspired with no yazi hood natives. Yeah, fine. We are hood natives because see, like hood natives explains native in the book or it's your native place. But when you mention hood in front of natives, you are saying these types of natives that you are mentioning are from the hood.
Yeah.
So of which that now means you are a keeper abanye abantu who are also natives. But then you are a keeper abanye abantu, you are saying this is hood natives. But now for a clothing brand, in as much as you represent the hood, but the brand has to be for Tina Song.
Yeah, be inclusive.
We understand. I was exclude abantu who know nothing about the hood. You understand? The hood can be introduced to abantu via your lifestyle. You understand? The hood can then be introduced to no man, as a man selection. I always had the perception of what's by the show. But then umuntu may say hlangana now as a hood natives. I understand what's no man. Hood natives are actually abantu abaright. Actually abantu abacabanga kanje. Abantu, you understand?
Yeah.
So calling it native or calling the brand the native into as a resonator with each and every one of us. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why I was then inspired to then say, if I'm really starting this clothing label, the only way for the clothing label to apply or to resonate to anyone or to everyone, it has to be inclusive. And for it to be inclusive, because I want to keep it there, I want to keep it native, I want to keep it, it's the whole movement or the whole thing, the natives, hood natives, it's more inspired or pushed or influenced by our origin. Your origin, my origin, his origin, everyone's origin, of which we are from the hood. But there's someone that's not from the hood. Who's black, who's white, who's colored, who's Indian, who's of another race, but they abasubonele a hood. So what are you saying about those people? You understand? So the whole idea behind the brand was to include and not exclude anyone but wonke umuntu. Because each and every one of us, your origin inspires you even till this day. No matter but indawo la uqhamuka khona will always represent you as a person, and when you are a representative of indawo lo suka kuyona. You understand?
Wow.
So native was more influenced by being inclusive. So having the space and the time to myself, so I then thought, okay, you know what, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it. I shared the idea with a lot of other guys, like say, this is what I'm planning to do. What do you think? You understand? Abanye, they gave me positive feedback, and then Abanye, even though they didn't give me positive feedback, but they gave me an insight and made me understand it's not just, you understand, but it's corner and inside, of which I had to learn from Lezo Zintolezo that they shared with me at the time. So after consulting wonke umuntu about the brand, I then decided, you know what, it's not going to be native, because native is everyone. Native is like it's like in your face. It's something that's just there. Native is every wonke umuntu because we all have rights to be native because we originated somewhere.
Yeah.
So ngaleyo ndlela everyone resonates with native. So igcina engazuthi ujwayelekile. You understand? So I had to come up with something that was going to be catchy but at the same time still represent native.
Yeah.
You understand? So the reason why I then went with this first when I was still drafting it, it was just native, the forward slashes, the apostrophe, and the forward slash after OV. And so now why if it's legalized? So when then when no trademark. So it was only this, of which is the pronunciation in native. But then because Indiphile with the brand was to introduce abantu to my native land, to how I got to be the person that I am today, to whatever I faced or whatever I have been in, for them to understand exactly this is gonna get them because we all resonate with this. But with Undabugo, someone is gonna ask, what is this? Yabo? Omunye umuntu angeke understand what is this, and then Undabugo is gonna be then a platform for them to really get into what is or what makes the brand, what inspired the brand, what origin inspired the brand, the originality that made the native to be where it is today. When there was you understand? What inspired it? You understand? So this was basically achieved via level 5 or stage 5 lockdown. This is a product of stage 5 or level 5 of lockdown. When I look back to this, I thank COVID, but I thank the Lord ukuthi wakwazi ukuthi alethe into ekuthiwa i-COVID. Ngaleyo ndlela umuntu akwazi ukuba na more time to himself ngalesa sikhathi asa-inspired to be able ukuthi akwazi create something of this magnitude. So yeah, that's basically what inspired or what influenced the brand Neitiv.
So we spoke about who natives. We spoke about Neitiv, the brand.
Sure.
We spoke about you. But then tell us about your career. You are able to work in a lab during the weekdays, and then during the weekend you are able to switch into an entertainment vibe. So first of all, tell us about your career as a I believe you're a lab scientist, right? So about that and about using that your career and the entertainment part of yourself to be who you are. Tell us about the career first of all.
Okay. I'm a medical laboratory scientist. How I got to be low, I had to study biomedical laboratory sciences, of which I did that via university in KZN. After that, I had to do my honors and I did my board exam, SMLTSA, to then qualify as a medical laboratory scientist. What inspired the career is, to be quite honest, working in a lab or being a medical laboratory scientist was not something that I had aspired to be. You understand? It was not something that I had seen or saw myself being in a company with kites. I actually saw myself as someone who was going to be working more closely with plants. You understand? I actually wanted to do environmental sciences. So in KZN, I don't know if ngalani khona, but in KZN connected to Central Applications Office. So Central Applications Office abantu, they act like your agent. So as a student, because you're not awazi what's the application process yenziwa kanjani, you don't know, akwazi ukuthi ungakuma varsity and knocking each and every door but just na mama kusami akwenziwa njalo. So bona like agent, you had to provide zonke izinto zakho kubona, and then bona bazoya kuma tertiary institutions. So babesinikeza like a pamphlets I say, which had all the courses owatholayo kuma-varsity that were in KZN.
Yeah.
So that includes MUT, that includes DUT, that includes EUKZN, and then the FET colleges now I included there. So umuntu wayekhetha based on what you qualify for. You understand? So I actually wanted to do environmental sciences. I remember it was my first choice, and then dental surgery I think was my second, and then the biomedical laboratory sciences was my third choice. My first and second choice, but at this card to reply or to respond to my application. And then you say, oh, it's okay. Now, if it's okay, it's fine. Ungezokwenza le course biomedical laboratory sciences bona if good to pass entrance test. Okay, cool. I went there, I passed entrance test. Nhlanhla sizwe uNkulunkulu nokuyimisela ngayiphasa, and then after passing ile ntujana I test I then qualified to then do the course biomedical laboratory sciences. And when environmental sciences and the dental replied to me, I was already ensured space in 2009. I was already ensured the space in 2009 to go do my first year. So when they told me I still had to do my test, I was like, it's fine. I'm just going to stick to biomedical laboratory sciences, of which even nana mind, I don't regret a day of taking that decision, because I enjoy my umsebenzi wami and faith. I enjoy my work because it gives me a platform in bigger space where I can improve impilo yomunye umuntu, not spiritually because I'm not exposed to the patient, but health-wise, I can help you without you even knowing ukuthi I played a part in udokotela wakho, saving or helping you from whatever it is that you were suffering from, whatever disease that you might have been faced with at the time. So yeah, that's how I got into biomedical laboratory sciences. It wasn't really something that I wanted to do, but then it was something that God had wanted me to do because He always has a plan. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I got myself into biomedical laboratory sciences.
So is it difficult for you to switch from i-vibe yomsebenzi to i-vibe entertainment? Because I know that these two things they are important to you. So how do you manage to even switch to from a work to an entertainment vibe?
The entertainment space is something that has always been there in Bulwenyam, or in my life. So having Galesa Skati, my studies came first because my studies had to come first. I had no other choice. My studies had to come first because your mama was like pushing me to no, man, you need to do this, you need to be schooling so that you can be whoever that you want to be, so that you can be a responsible man, so that you can be an independent man, you understand? So you need to go to school. But my love was not at school. My love has always been outside the fence. I've always been outside. At that time, it was soccer. They took less space entertainment. So what I was using at the time to entertain myself was soccer. Because with soccer, I could do something that's more of a hobby to me. Nabanye abantu abalithandayo ibhola. Ngaleyo ndlela we are all happy. There is the spirit. I'm around people. Yabo leyo happiness of team spirit. Leyo even noma sidliwe leyo downness. Lezo zinto lezo eziba ama obstacle, and then as a team we fight it over and then we win. Sometimes ama challenges that are over us we don't win, but ngaleyo ndlela ngangakheka as umuntu because I was around people, of which it was space. So at the time it was the ball, and then as iskole naso siqhubeka, and as I had to qualify and be a professional, entertainment is there. You understand? It moved from soccer because I couldn't play soccer anymore. So I now had to find something else to entertain me kule stage sempilo yami engikson. And njoba ngishilo ukuthi the inspiration from musicians such as about Jay-Z, about Lucy Pearl, about Maxwell, about Zwelihle, like it's different type of guys, but ngaleyo ndlela I was being exposed to indlela Jay-Z aphila ngayo at that time, like when he released Unreasonable Doubts in 1999, I had to understand indlela that now he has to face to be where he was at the time he released the Vision Project. You understand that? I had to understand any impilo, any artist, of which it was Maxwell. Understanding impilo epilo Maxwell, impilo epilo Jay-Z at the time. Jay-Z was like a hip hop star. Maxwell was more on the R&B side. The likes of Lucifer were more on the R&B side. The likes of this guy, Music Soul Child, were more space with these other guys who were more on the hip hop scene. So me being exposed to impilo zalabo bantu lezo then inspired me to then be on this type of an entertainment space, you understand, of which it revolves around ukujabulisa abantu. You understand? Even though I might not be the one that's behind the entertaining, Uguti, I have a mic on my hand, or I'm performing, or I'm a DJ, but being in a space where abantu are enjoying lezinto lezi via artistry of other artists, then I'm in a good space, you understand? So balancing impilo yami yomsebenzi and also having entertainment on the side, I won't lie to you, it's not easy, because my shift that I work emsebenzini are crazy. I work at 6-3, next thing I work at 9-6, next thing I work at 8-5, next thing I'm on night duty, you understand? Next thing I work at 6-6. So my shifts kahle don't really allow me to be in a space, say entertainment. But the entertainment, I'm using it as something to keep or take my mind off the space that I'm in for most of the time, of which say ilang sebenza khona. You understand? So most of my time is spent liandaw. So the only way that I can help myself ukuthi ngingabe sengiba stuck up and be like this person in face who's like thinking of work and so ngisikhathi noma ngasekhe lento yanini emsebenzini, because I have nothing to do ngisendlini asemele ngicabanga umsebenzi into ukuthi konje okay into yabo njengamanje sengithatha umsebenzi ngizowuletha kephi endlini, of which ayikho right lol. So finding into that I love, that I like to be an entertainment thingy kumina was something that I had to do, and the entertainment world helps me relieve whatever stress or strain that I get from doing the job that I do, from the shifts that I do, from yonke leyonto. So being in a space of abantu that are happy, of abantu that are joyful, iyangisiza forget about ispan ngaleyo ndlela ingenza ngibe fresh ngaso sonke isikhathi, because even nasispan it's not like, but because ngihlezi in that mood, ngihlezi in that spirit sabantu kwenza ukuthi even umqondo wami uhlezi ube refreshed. So it's not easy, but I do it because iyangisiza for my sanity. Otherwise I wouldn't be able mhlambe to be the person that I am if kukuthi I was only focused on this span and had nothing else that I was doing on the side. So it's therapy for me to try and balance this in the two. It acts as therapy for the other, because even no ngasekho entertainment world, I have to understand that I'm a professional. You understand? Now I'm in a space whereby I need to act a certain way because there's a service that I'm providing manje as a professional. You understand? So I also need to understand that. So ngaleyo ndlela impilo yami is not like one-faced or like ibhekene endaweni eyi-one, but there's a balance kwi-lifestyle noku-understanda the person that I am kwi-field engiyona. So yeah.
So now let's touch on your future plans. We have Ehud Natives, we have Neitiv the brand, we have your career and yourself as a public figure as well. What are your future plans? what can you expect from Nhlanhla Biyela, say in the coming 5-10 years?
Wow. The first thing or any izinto that I would love to see myself get into is getting Hood Natives to be the hub of entertainment.
Yeah.
Being the hub of entertainment, it doesn't have to be a place or a space where abantu come in, groove, and then go. But it must also be a space or offer a stage or offer a platform for each and every person who sees themselves as umuntu that's more in the social world. You understand? In social now, ihambiselana entertainment. If I'm not angazi nina ma2K nina nazi lezinto.
Yeah, it goes together.
It goes together. So wona wonke umuntu who's more on the entertainment or social side of izinto, Hood Natives must offer or must be able to offer a platform kulo muntu loyo akwazi urealize whatever they have, if ikhona ngempela or if ayikho. So into ebalulekile is to get Hood Natives to be the hub, njengoba ngisho, the center, or where, like, if you look at Hermanus, if you look at abantu abezayo njengamanje, you understand, khona nina manje nina nisakude kakhulu, khona 15 16 17 18 19 20. If ubheka italente kulabo bantu fethu ukuthi abantu abanakile, but if ungabheka italente elikubona labo bantu, abantu abafana njengo D, they are trying to expose labo bantu labo to be seen endaweni ukuthi there's someone like Indiphile. Uyamazi Indiphile, there's someone like Indiphile who's an aspiring astronomer, something abantu balayixasa bangayazi nanokuyazi. You understand? There's someone like ucameraman angimazi what ambitions he has, but now I'm sure he sees himself as someone ongcono ngelinye ilanga mase kwi age it is. You understand? So bonke labo bantu, if Hood Natives can at least supply a platform for bona which bagwazi, even like interviews, if you can have your interviews in the Neitiv, you don't have a space, and you're like, okay, can I ngawenza my interviews lapha, someone else mhlambe udayisa into ethize, Nhlanhla, can you arrange mhlambe a social market whereby abantu who are like me, who are pushing this type of thing, can be like in a sort of an expo, yabo, like expo, where yonke into that's available like us can be showcased, and then Hood Natives even nje medium yokuthi lezi zinto lezi zikwazi ukuba possible.
Yeah,
that's my short-term plans for Hood Natives, is for abantu to realize it or see it as a platform that's there to make sure whatever they're thinking or whatever they have in mind can be lived via the platform Neitiv ingakwazi uku-offerisha kulowo muntu whoever has that particular plan or an idea. You understand? And on my brand, sorry if I'm like cutting izinto manje, but on my brand, I would love to see Neitiv be the brand of choice when it comes to local wear. I want to see Neitiv being celebrated by the people that are understanding the principle of being a native, of being a representative of indawo osuka kuyona, of understanding how originality can take you and make you see or understand ezinye izinto obungeke understand via indwangu. You understand? So I want Neitiv to not just be indwangu that's went by me and you or whoever, but I want indwangu to inspire you to be proud of where you come from, to be proud of your native, to be proud of indabuko yakho, to be proud of imvelaphi yakho. So for Neitiv, I don't want people to just buy it just because it's stylish, but I want people to also understand the narrative behind Neitiv. That's my also short-term goal for Neitiv. And then in my career, it's maybe low being time on record, but in my career, I don't see myself, or I'd love to not see myself being in a position of working in a lab at least in the next 10 years. Yeah, but at least from 5 to then the 10th year, give us plan with okay, now I'm planning on something by the age of 35. I'm like, okay, now I'm planning on stepping down and applying whatever knowledge that I have of the science world to the youth that's the class. You understand? I can then have time to provide my extra lessons for abanye abafundi. And that I'll be doing not isikhathini somlungu, not isikhathini somunye umuntu, but in my own space and time. Ngaleyo ndlela ngizokwazi ukuyenza into ngothando, understand? Ngingayenzi into ngoba ngi under pressure. So in my career, as much as I love my career, but I want to be in a position whereby there's streams of izinto that are coming to me that are helping me survive without me needing to be u-85.
I see.
U-63. U-96. U-66. Without me having to work shifts, ngikwazi ukuphila ngalokho ukwazi ungena kumina by means of the streams uNkulunkulu angakwazi ukungisiza ukuthi ngikwazi ukuthola to help me build the empire, and also at the same time build abantu who are helping me build the empire. You understand? So when it comes to my career, I skis, but I don't see myself being there for much too long from mhlambe manje or in the next 5-10 years. And then Nhlanhla Biyela as a whole, where do I see myself? Ooh, what do I think of myself? I want to, because you need to understand now ukuthi umuntu is growing. Umuntu is no longer at that very same age, or at that age la ubekwazi ukwenza izinto ngale ndlela le ufuna ngayo. Now you need to be responsible. There is stuff that you need to let go because you are now going on a certain direction. Your life is now on a certain movement, and you need to position yourself for the movement that your life is now taking. So Nhlanhla, I wish, and I'm praying for the guy ukuthi inkosi engazothi ingamsiza imvula ingqondo yakhe akwazi ukuthola uqala umuntu ozokwazi ukumdirector to the goals that he sees himself in ngelinye ilanga. So someone who's going to be more like a supporter to the guy, so that ezokwazi ukureach those goals. I want Nhlanhla ukuthi aphinde abuyele ezwini likaNkulunkulu. I want, because Nhlanhla, if I can tell you about the guy, there was a time where he was big on inkonzo, like big from, I think it was between the years, from 2013 to 2015-16. I was like more of an elder or a deacon in the church that I was in at the time. Because I had this amazing love for God, which was raised by one of the elders in Konzweni at that time, in Seventh Day Adventist. So from then on, I developed uthando lwaNkulunkulu ngendlela eyisimanga, and I used to work for uNkulunkulu. There was going to be mission to the cities 2014 or 2015 in Konzweni. So mission to the cities required us to take evangeli, because evangeli yona mission kaNkulunkulu ukuthi liyeke phi ezizweni. So our mission was to take it now to the cities, because that is where the devil is lingering, in the cities, in the big cities. So we had to take evangeli to the big cities to help whoever was in the cities at that time and facing no devil himself. So we used to go to Imthandazo, we used to attend like conferences. I used to go notata ubongani waseNewcastle umuntu engifaka enkonzweni. So I learned how to deliver like devotion. I learned how to deliver like minister kubantu and talk about uJesu ngendlela engizom-understanda nawe uzom-understanda ngayo. So I would love for Nhlanhla to also go back to lelo thando ayinalo for uNkulunkulu, akwazi ukumsebenzela ngale ndlela le ayemsebenzela ngayo ngalesa sikhathi. So enye into engimkhulekela kuyona leyo ukuthi uNkulunkulu angathi angamsiza ehlise nje lo moya kuyena ukuthi abuyele futhi enkonzweni. And it's not easy because of the life umuntu is now finding himself in. You understand? Because now I'm at work and then the next thing I'm here. You understand? And being here, I'm actually exposing myself to lazy I should be avoiding, so that ngizokwazi ukuhlala ngumuntu ohlanzekile phambi kwamehlo kaJesu. You understand? But now I'm exposing myself to izinto that are difficult to abstain from. You understand? For a mere human being like me and you, izinto ezinzima ukuthi umuntu akwazi overcome. So uNkulunkulu njoba ngisho ukuthi yonke into uNkulunkulu uneplan yayo. So into engicelayo uNkulunkulu ileyo ukuthi uzoyenza kanjani yena angimazi, but ngibeka nje kuyena ukuthi Nhlanhla akabuyise lelathando ayinalo for uNkulunkulu. Who else? For my future. Yeah, that's basically it. And Lindawo lethu for Zwelihle. Not to say it's my plan for Zwelihle, but there's a lot that is happening Lindawo. There's a lot that is to happen Lindawo.
Yeah.
Because Zwelihle or Hermanus is more of a developing area. There's a lot of stuff that is not here that is now getting here. You understand? Mall ibe like 2-3 years ago. Being a mall like Hermanus.
Yeah, a few years ago.
You understand? 2, 3, 4, whatever. But each mall. So meaning Hermanus is developing. You understand? There's opportunities for me, for you, for whoever okona like Hermanus to make the most of izinto that are going to be happening in Hermanus soon. You understand? So I just need wonke umuntu who's in that position to be in a state sokuthi uzokwazi to kick in kuona wonke lawo opportunities or kuzona zonke lezo zinto, to be able ukuthi aphinda abuye futhi ashare na whoever ongekho exposed to that, ukuthi nawe futhi because into esilimaza kakhulu is ungazazi izinto. You understand? Khona umehluko between umuntu oyazi into ongayenzi nomuntu oyaziyo ongayazi into ongayenzi. Yabo, if ungayazi into anginalo ulwazi lelo nto angiyazi, but uyayazi and you're not doing anything about it. You understand? So let's us learn to get the knowledge if you can, by whatever means that you can, and then after getting the knowledge, whatever engakwenza omunye umuntu aprosperish, share it with lowo muntu loyo. As you prosper, as he prospers, sonke we prosper. Indawo yethu esiphila kuyona iba indawo engcono kakhulu, iba indawo engcono because we are all prospering. Akekho umuntu ozoba nomona nokuthi Indiphile ngeke manje lama interviews akhe ngathi semaningi kakhulu. Akekho umuntu ozoba nomona ukuthi abantu Neitiv sebegcwala kakhulu, because sonke siyakwazi ukuthola isinkwa ngendlela ehlukahlukene, because we are sharing the knowledge that we are getting from whatever that we can do. You understand? So yeah, that's basically my short-term goals for Good Neitiv, my career, myself, and Hermanus and Zwelihle.
Wow. Now, before we wrap it up, I just want to do some sort of a quick game. So in 5 seconds, you're going to tell the viewers, what do you want? What do you actually want that will make you happy? So I'm going to do a countdown with my hands, then you just name them. So you'll tell me when you are ready.
Yes, I wasn't ready. Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sure. The first one, the second one, the third one, as I go with
Oh,
my
okay,
hands.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, benga-understand.
Okay.
Sibinga to countdown and then ngisho and then uphinde wenze countdown ngisho.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Into engifuna kakhulu man ukuhlakana.
Yeah,
Uthando.
sure.
Happiness,
You're
happiness,
sure.
happiness, soft life.
Yeah, then the last one.
The last one is just love.
You love mbizo kwesibini ngoku.
Shoot your thing.
Yeah.
So
Something that you really want. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for also sharing who you are and what you want to see up at Hermanus, what you want to see for yourself. And I can also see that you do not have the dream for yourself only, but you want to see others as well prospering. So that was Nhlanhla Biyela. This is the longest interview I've ever had. Out of all the interviews that I've had, I've never had such an interview, and I think it was for the best because also I've learned a lot from my personal side as well. So once again, this is Indiphile Madlekiana, the directing anchor of Kasi Exposure News. Until next time.
done.